welcoming all our viewers to today's International Affairs. Once again, starting a brand new week here at SATV, where the show is being broadcasted from. Of course, the introduction of this program will definitely touch upon a lot of the events that have occurred over the weekend as we see it happen, which definitely includes the tensions between United States of America and the various trade talks with Canada, the neighboring nation up in the north. And of course, the Premier Mark Carney has just stated that there shall be a dollar-for-dollar tariff against U.S. as the trade talks have collapsed. It, of course, started on Saturday. Much more to discuss regarding the world geopolitics. It shall be a very interesting discussion today. Let me introduce my panel. Here in the studio, I have Barrister M. Sarwar Hussain, the senior jurist of the Supreme Court, and of course, a politician, a geopolitical analyst. I welcome you on to the program. Alongside, I will have our geopolitical correspondent all the way from Washington, District of Columbia, Norman Floyd Barnes. I want to begin with you as this story is very near to your location, Canada. The nation is saying dollar for dollar trade war between the two nations. These are some of the words that were used in the various media outlets as well. Passing it on to you, Norman. A very good morning to you. What are some of the updates that you have for us?
Good morning. It is actually 4 a.m. here in the United States, and most of the country is still asleep, uh, uh, particularly on the East Coast. We're waking up. The first thing is the news about the battle between northern neighbor of Canada, tariff wars. The new I guess the newest and the latest conflict now is with Canada. We have a trade war. Saturday, the new tariffs from the United States went in effect, 50% tariffs to Canada, our great neighbor, friend for many, many, many years. Now we are basically at each other in terms of trade and commerce. Uh, the new uh, I'm going to say sanctions against um, Canada went into effect Saturday, and we're looking at over 5% of Canada's trade is going to be immediately affected, roughly $20 billion worth of goods and services, which comes across the country, comes across the borders every day. Everything from hockey sticks to uh, 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 tongue depressors. Everything is going to be charged steel, medical equipment, agricultural equipment, all these things we use daily. That's roughly 73% of Canada's import comes to the United States is going to be taxed. In response, the Canadian government, Parliament, Prime Minister, has decided to do a dollar for dollar retaliatory response, taxing the U.S. on their goods. So this is going to have a profound effect once again on the consumers. We do a lot across the border trading goods and services, and the prices that mean of everything that we do daily is going to go up again at a time when we in the United States can't afford it. There's going to be issues, more tension is going to be for the November's midterm election. The people is going to feel it immediately. Uh, and Canada said that they're going to start their retaliatory response on the 8th of September, which is close by. So we're going to have this cross-border battle, and the prices again for the consumers for everything we use daily is going to increase. They're going to have a severe impact into the pocketbooks again. And once again, we're still fighting the battle overseas, the tariffs with the oil, the gas. Now we go into our goods and services, our paper goods, wood services, steel, automobiles, medical equipment, agricultural equipment. Everything is going to increase, and that's going to have again another impact on the consumer, which is also the voter. So on other news, today in Washington, several hours from now, we'll have an ending Indianapolis race starting in the city. Washington, D.C., downtown, the mall area, the capital area near the White House is going to be used for a Indianapolis, we call it 250-mile race around the city. There's some 150,000 of people in the city today to watch this rare event. And it's going to create a lot of conversation, hopefully a lot of revenue. But again, the money spent there is going to now be taken away next week when they have to go to the store. So here we go, a catch-22, create one situation where you spend the money, the next situation where you take the money. So now September is coming up very quickly. We more into September than August, and now we're getting closer to November. So the temperament of the people is now starting, and you will see more tensions come up in terms of how they feel about our government and how they feel about the elected officials, and you will see it definitely in the November vote.
Right. Excellent opening from Norman Floyd Barnes, really recapturing the negotiation, the deals, the term of the deals between Canada, immediate neighbors of the United States, and of course mentioning the Freedom 250th Grand Prix of Washington, D.C. will be celebrating the 250 years of the nation. I want to come into the studio with Barrister M. Sarwar Hussain, really Canada being America's immediate ally in the region, co-hosting the World Cup together, as well as sharing these business terminology. The deals have been called off by the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney. I want to get a remark regarding this as well, as we see that an economic method might be used in terms of Iran as well. How do you make of these recent developments?
Thank you very much. Look, America has a leader now who is very idiosyncratic, having definite doubt about his mental soundness. Nation develops by the leadership. Again, nation loses also by the leadership. A bad leader can have the adverse effect on a nation for more than 50 years. This, he says, is not the first time with Canada and USA during the presidency of Mr. Trump. Earlier, he wanted to buy Canada. And the earlier Prime Minister of Canada said that Canada is not for sale.
Right.
Canada is not for sale. Then he wanted to buy Greenland. And Greenland, the Netherlands has deployed armed forces there, and now that issue is no more there in the front line. Then he captured on the head of the state of a country, waged war against Iran.
Right.
So these all led that what he said that make America great again, actually he is making America losing again. So he is disturbing or damaging the friendship with long-standing friends of USA. Like UK, I don't think that the friendship with UK will be lost, but there will be some easing points. The relations with Spain, and now with Canada. So it's really very bad thing that America has a president like this, who does not know what he is saying and what he is doing and what he will be doing. Now he has waged a tariff war against Canada, and this present Prime Minister of Canada said Canada is not the 50th state of USA. So a long-standing friends for years, for decades together, for centuries, is disturbing. So this is no good leadership for USA, that where you are doing whatever you are feeling like. So it is American people who will respond in the midterm election.
Of course.
That whether they keep a president like this or not, whether they can hold the majority in Senate and Congress. So that we'll see in the midterm election. But definitely, this is a bad leadership of USA. There is no doubt that his mental state is not okay, and he will damage further the American relations with their own friends, where they have maintained so long friendship. So he
Exactly.
does not care about the interstate relations. So he only understands his whim and is doing something whatever he feel like is a sweet will. Now he is claiming that in over Hormuz they have full control, which is a white lie. Now Iran is telling that giving a status in the social media or making some press briefing will not win the war. The war you have already lost. Now you are waging economic war. Actually, USA waged economic war for last 40 years since the fall of Reza Shah Pahlavi. So these economic blockade or war will not bring any more results. So actually, this is the third scenario that America has lost: Vietnam, Afghanistan, and followed by Iran.
Right.
Now he is looking for a face-saving scenario, face-saving situation, face-saving exit, which might not happen.
Excellent remarks by Barrister Sarbar Hussain, really recapping the decision-making skills, of course, the traits of leadership, and how sometimes we see the cracks appearing in leadership, causing unnecessary damage to the governance of a nation. And of course, once we look at Iran, an economic war has been sought after just after many weeks and months of confrontations, barrages, drone strikes and attacks. I want to go to Norman Floyd Barnes just to get a remark from you. Iran is warning neighboring countries against joining the U.S. economic war, threatening to target their interests and prevent oil exports from the Gulf if they cooperate with Washington. Just to get a remark from you, how you feel about this kind of latest news. It is definitely signaling, precursoring towards more events to follow. Would you agree, Norman?
Yes, I would totally agree with that. The climate in the region is getting very heated. Iran is now warning the neighboring countries, the Gulf state, and any country in that region that is thinking about supporting the United States with economic sanctions. Uh, there's going to be basically, let's say, hell to pay. So the once stable relationships between the United States and the Gulf states and the neighboring countries and then in the Middle East region is now being questioned because the appearance that the United States do not have the ability to shield and protect them from the long arm now we see of Iran, and that is causing a lot of tremor and questioning and confidence in the neighboring countries, how they're going to deal with Iran. Iran has not revealed what they're going to do, but it is evident that Iran can and will have the ability to affect the economies of these countries uh, through either military action, tactical, cyber, uh, restriction of oil, restrictions of energy coming to the country. So right now, these countries are now looking up and questioning what they need to do, what alternative they need to do, because the once reliance on the United States is now being challenged, questioned, and the confidence that the United States can basically provide guidance and support and more importantly, protection for them of Iran is now being questioned. So now there's a big frenzy on exactly how do we again mitigate and how do we be able to coexist in a region where the United States and Iran is at war, and what side do we take? The countries have to decide how do they relate to Iran and how do they maintain relationship with the United States. So they have to be very diplomatic about it, but there will be deals made. There will be concessions. There will be alternative solutions made for these countries because they know standing strictly by with the United States and the Western world is not a solution for them.
Right. Outstanding remarks made by Norman Floyd Barnes, really summarizing the current situation on the field and, of course, understanding the needs in the neighborhood in the Middle East, how we see multiple nations coming out, not be feeling safe any longer with military advances from United States of America, especially given how Iran is posturing itself or trying to posture itself as the regional hegemon. It's time to take a short commercial break. Afterwards, we will be discussing some developments in the Middle East as well between Turkey and Israel. There has been an event that we want to discuss just after a short break, requesting our audience to stay tuned for more on this very. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panto.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen.
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Panto.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because
On to International Affairs. Of course, I'm joined in the studio with Barrister M. Sarwar Hussain as well as Norman Floyd Barnes, all the way from Washington District of Columbia. We were talking about the various issues surrounding US President Donald Trump as well as the allied nations in the Middle East. Of course, we've seen the Mecca Defense Summit coming out to show Pakistan, Turkey and Saudi Arabia's defense alignment. And that is where Turkey has gained the recent ground and the spotlight in order to raise in the ranks in the Middle East. And of course, there has been comments from Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, regarding the President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Talking about this very issue with Barrister M. Sarwar Hussain, Benjamin Netanyahu made that comment that the President Recep Tayyip Erdogan was devoid of historical facts and political seriousness. This kind of comment, especially just after a border strike in a Syrian town, it really shows that even after we try to build the image of coexistence, as Norman was stating, we really are failing because of decisions such as those appearing from Israel. How do you see this development?
Yeah, this might mark a departure from long coexistence or understanding. We know that Balfour Treaty, by which this state of Israel has been created by West, especially USA and UK. Now UK was trying to make some sort of peaceful coexistence, and when Robin Cook visited Palestine, and where is before 15 or 20 years back, and Israel very angrily reacted. So from that point of view, and you know that this movie that from Balfour Treaty, the two countries actually came from the same origin, this United Kingdom and Israel. So with this background, now making this Makkah Treaty with Turkey, United Kingdom and Pakistan, and many might be in the pipeline. In Bangladesh also, this is a discussion that whether Bangladesh should join with this Makkah Treaty or not. I personally feel we should join. We should join. So, critic of Israel, it is said that it is an outpost of USA, and USA has so much of good foreign policy. They protect the humanity in many places, like when Bosnia-Herzegovina was bombing, the Muslims were killed brutally. It is American-led NATO who saved the Muslims. When Gaddafi wanted to butcher his own people, compared them with the rats, dogs and cats, it is NATO who saved them. So they have so much of historical humanitarian role to save the humanity. This is only for Israel. All these good jobs, good humanitarian actions has been blurred, has been gone into the dark, only to protect this Israel. And the present Israeli Prime Minister is a war criminal, having warrant order. And lastly, this is Turkey who has also issued a warrant order against him.
Right.
Killing the children, women, and bombing the hospital and charity organization. This world cannot accept that. This is unacceptable. That's why the demand has arisen from America itself. More than 50% people has demanded this war criminal Netanyahu should be arrested immediately and put on trial. If this is not done, then America is the abettor of these war criminals. Especially it will be upon on the Trump administration, not upon the people of America, because the people of America, they took to the street and they hesitate. They are against this policy, which will be reflected in their election. But this type of acts, this type of belligerent actions is absolutely devoid of international rules and international regulations. World cannot accept that. This is undermining the international institutions like UN, like international war crime tribunals, and all these peace-loving institutions. That's why this Makkah Treaty is very, very important. I think now through this Makkah Treaty, the role Muslim world should have been taken. Probably the Muslim world is going towards that direction, heading towards that direction. This is a good news to contain a war criminals. This is a boiling point, Israel. There should be a sustainable treaty so that this type of volcanic situation is ended forever.
Of course, outstanding remarks made by Barrister M. Sarwar Hossain, really drawing comparisons between the Mecca Defense Pact as well as what gives recognition to those nations that are majority Muslim nations. Of course, on the other side, there is the Abraham Accords that, of course, gives recognition of Israel. There is more news as I was reading out regarding the President of Turkey as well as the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Turkey and 7 other countries have condemned Israel's unlawful settlement policies in Palestinian territories. The 7 other nations being Turkey, Egypt, Indonesia, Jordan, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates all unequivocally condemned Israel's continued illegal settlement policies and categorically rejected the E1 plan and related settlement activities. Coming to Norman Floyd Barnes regarding this very issue, more and more nations, Muslim nations, are seeing that the common agitator in the Middle East remains to be Israel. And as Barrister Sarwar Hossain has been saying, they have been violating the rules and regulations that we often associate with international law. I want to pass it to you, Norman. How do you feel about this? Israel definitely has an election coming up, as well as the American midterm just around in November. How are you feeling?
I am very perplexed about the situation. Is we're talking. I'm hearing us. The conversation is about what should be done, who should be tried, who should be condemned, whatever. But you have to understand that in order for these individuals, these people we designate as our leaders, our rule makers, decision makers, to operate, there must be an environment conducive to that. Which meaning the leaders, our leaders, will only act and only perform, will only do things if the environment allows them to do that. Meaning the people have to support this. The people have to allow this. The world has to tolerate this situation. United Nations, war crime, all these things. They see the same news, the same situation we see every day, what we're talking about. But they have chosen to sit and endure and tolerate the situation. When you tolerate something, that means you support it. That means you condone it. You allow it. Leaders, they're human, just like everybody else. They will only do as much as the environment allows them to do. So right now, what you're seeing is happening is basically where the environment tolerates, which is interpreted by these leaders as support and encouragement to do this. So by having these activities occur around the world, particularly we going back to the situation with Palestine, the issue of Palestine should have its own state. Now we're looking at a situation whether or not Palestine will be able to survive human to human. That situation of war and going back and having Palestine in his own state is frankly off the table, largely because the environment, the communities of the world has tolerated Israel, and Israel is only doing what is allowed and tolerated by the environment, the world, and what's supported. So they are encouraged by having countries, councils, NATO, whatever, sit on his hand and enjoy the picture. They're basically sitting around watching, eating popcorn, and talking about how bad the movie is, but they're still watching the movie. So action, I'm seeing a situation right now. These things will continue to happen. These uprising, this intolerable persecution of the Palestinian people and the region will continue because we have too many people who wants to be in a position where we have a title, we have a role, we have a say, but no one is acting. So when you don't act and you are in an environment, that means you tolerate the situation, which is interpreted by the aggressors as support. You agree, you approve. So that's what we have right now. We see an environment of great approval for destruction and desecration of the human race.
Of course, excellent statements from Norman Floyd Barnes, really recapping the worldwide situation as well as how people are now tolerating all of what Israel is doing upon the people. Exciting news also coming from the United States as well. I want to discuss because it is a judge that delivered this very next hearing. A U.S. judge strikes down Trump's immigrant visa ban affecting 75 countries. A federal judge in Manhattan ruled against the State Department's suspension of visa rules and saying that the policy exceeded Secretary of State Marco Rubio's statutory authority. I want to come to Barrister M. Sarwar Hossain. It is a matter of law. If it is written into the law, people are bound to abide to it, as I feel, as I know. I want to get a remark from you. Donald Trump had said that to introduce a policy which would suspend the issuance of immigrant visas from 75 nations. A judge, however, has taken a very different stance. Judge Janet Vargas of Manhattan said in her ruling last Friday. So get a remark from you, how you feel about this. Right now, common Bangladeshis have to pay up a visa bond, many $1,000s before they can even apply and for the visa itself. How are you feeling regarding Donald Trump's immigration laws?
Yeah, this also we have seen also earlier that he banded the birthright policy in USA, which has been declared illegal by a junior court, by a session court or in lower tier of the court. And this time this visa also has been declared illegal. His order, presidential order, has been declared illegal by a lower tier court. This reflects the standard, very high standard of judiciary, the independence of judiciary, that the judiciary can decide independently. But we have seen attempts that Trump try to control the judiciary like the third world country. What happens in Bangladesh? Our judiciary is very weak. What to talk about the lower court? In many cases, in political issues, the lower court always gets some inner direction from the minister or from the secretary of law ministry. This is widely believed, and it happens as well. We have personal knowledges. So in lower court in Bangladesh had never the independence, never as yet, and higher court as well. In higher court, in high court division or appellate division, usually don't go against the political will, political wish, usually. So our judiciary is very weak. In comparison to this is a world-class standard. What were the, there are three organs of a government: the executive, judiciary and legislature. This is to control each other. The executive tend to be arrogant, tend to abuse the power, tend to overact, and judiciary is there to control that. Where American judiciary has displayed this standard, and third world country like Bangladesh, we could not display this standard. So that's why this is America. That they can, a lower court, lower tier court can stop a presidential order for the rule of law and justice. So this is a highest standard of judiciary. Again, a president has been picked up from a sovereign country. We have not seen that judiciary has acted that independently, that why that has happened. I don't know what is the culmination point. We have not heard any news, what is happening, how the trial is going on. So I think it will come in the media, what trial is going on. And that president has said that I am not getting the legal support. So that also I think American judiciary will look after. So this, the stopping a presidential order on visa, what the birthright, immigration, this is very high standard of judiciary. This displays that American judiciary has some sort of independence, yet having Trump, a person like Trump in the presidency.
Of course, a very accurate observation by Barrister M. Sarwar Hussain. Really, Donald Trump and many months of this gerrymandering between the various laws and rules. I have a very simple question for Norman Floyd Barnes. It's regarding Donald Trump, who has said that his political operation has about US $800 million and he plans to spend a lot of that money to support Republican candidates he favors in the 2026 midterm elections. As per the documentation I am holding, the midterms will definitely be the cornerstone of the political activity in the United States. Any comments regarding this before I can go for a break, Norman?
My only comment is that, yes, the president has indicated his intentions. He is going to support his who he feels is the candidate, and he's going to use all the resources that he has in his hand to make that it's critical that he make that support and contribution to hopefully ensure that he gets his way in terms of how the government prevails the rest of his term. So it's a very critical situation that he maintained control of the Congress, and he is willing and has stated that he would do everything in his power to basically ensure that that situation remains.
Right. Once again, proper evaluation of Donald Trump and the rules and regulations that he has set for the nation of United States of America. As we go on for a short commercial break, urging our viewers to stay tuned for the last segment. Just afterwards, I urge our viewers not to go anywhere and to stay tuned for more on this.
Deviation from the plan.
Opening an open war conflict with them.
Testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing.
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV screen.
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With President Xi of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
Simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Pantho.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because
Welcoming our viewers back onto the very last segment of International Affairs, much of which ambiguity we have as a nation here in Bangladesh. We are likely to be joining the Mecca Defense Pact. We still do not know yet, however, we're waiting a confirmation. Not only so, we see that after 6 months of operation, certain cabinet changes are appearing. Of course, Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir is now the president of Bangladesh, as we've seen since last weekend, and he begins his official duties at the Banga Bhavan today, as well as other cabinet changes. I want to ask Barrister M. Sarwar Hussain, these recent changes, Bangladesh's current geopolitical positioning, as well as our future ties with our surrounding neighborhood, how do you feel about these changes coming in at the 7-month range?
Well, before that, you said something about the Makkah Treaty and Bangladesh.
Right.
The BNP as a party is in government now, and the BNP foreign policy was led by Shohid President Ziaur Rahman. Ziaur Rahman mediated the Iran and Iraq war and maintained relations with all Muslim world. There had been this tree, the neem tree in Makkah and Medina and all those. So that's the direction. That is the foreign policy this present government should follow. Even Bangladesh joined with the Makkah Treaty, Bangladesh must maintain same relations with Iran.
Of course.
So a balance has to be maintained. Joining with the Makkah Treaty should not no way make a uneasy relations with Iran. So this is the bottom line set by President Ziaur Rahman, how to maintain relations with the Muslim world. That is one of the foreign policy priority. Bangladesh must realize that. At the same time, Bangladesh must maintain the relation established by President Ziaur with China. So the balance has to be maintained, the relations with the Muslim world. This is the priority, and balance has to be made with the relations with India and China. Of course, those are the different relations basing on the national interest of the people. If Bangladesh people assume that the Bangladesh foreign policy or government anyway is subdued with India, then you have a tough time. People of Bangladesh is not going to accept that. So when you will visit India or not, that situation will dictate. Before visiting India, those issues you have raised, the 3 points, this returning Sheikh Hasina and the killers of Hadi and the equal relations. Before that, I think that 120 MAU and agreement signed during the Aumi regime must be reviewed. There had been few treaty which actually one-sided and has really damaged the national interest. That must be reviewed. Before visit, this point must be settled. And people believe that in the ministry, a good section are under influence of India, maintain very good relations with India, may be placed by the Indian instance. That is a bad news for government. So a difference has to be said, a subdued policy followed by Awami League regime, that Bangladesh was made a vassal state. Bangladesh almost lost the sovereignty and independence, almost. They wanted to, many reports suggest that they wanted to cut this Meerut and this Feni, this strip, and also in Rangpur. So if 5th August would not have happened, who knows, they would have been pressed. In Meerut they had been 900 acre, which they turned to be a mini cantonment. So this all has to be reviewed and brought so that the interest of the people of Bangladesh is being served, is not being disturbed anyway. Bangladesh people will accept many things, but no way a hegemony or a imposed policy impliedly executed by the government of Bangladesh. The people of Bangladesh will not accept that. Regarding the change, yes, change is a routine matter. Change can happen, those who cannot deliver. But as I said earlier also, the team is not very strong. There are many competent people. The way President Jia formed his cabinet, this is no way near about. Maybe that on consideration is there the unquestionable loyalty. Unquestionable loyalty is one thing, and efficiency and delivery is another thing.
Right, accurate.
Many unquestionable loyal people do it only for their personal interest. The challenge, whatever changes you make, the challenge whether you could deliver good governance, rule of law, justice, and very, very importantly, whether you could keep your government and your party free of corruption. If you cannot keep your party and your government free of corruption, you will definitely face the music. You will definitely face the repercussions of the people. The very challenge. Mr. Tarek would have been asked his minister to submit their wealth asset statement to the people and take their wealth statement every after 1 year. His ministers and his MPs. If he could do it, people would have gained more confidence. People wants to see that your government and your party could make some difference what Awami League did. A servant of Sheikh Hasina illegally gained 400 crore taka, moves in helicopter, very proudly said by fallen Sheikh Hasina. The same scenario, same corruption scenario, same money laundering, same type of servants is not making wealth out of the BNP government, out of the office of the Prime Minister. That you have to be very, very careful. If you cannot curb this corruption, if you cannot bring the good governance, rule of law and justice, your leadership will be at stake. And
definitely,
one thing is good in Bangladesh. People accept many things. People are tolerant. But when time comes, if their tolerance is over, people come to the stick and make the government fall. I hope you should not face the same scenario. And the only remedy, the only technique, the only strategy, bring good governance, rule of law and justice, and most importantly, again I say, curb the corruption.
Right.
Free of corruption, your government and your party. If you cannot deliver this, If you cannot make it successful, your leadership will be at stake.
Excellent remarks, really, from Barrister M. Sarwar Hussain. Really ensuring transparency should become a common theme between all those here in Bangladesh in an attempt to curb corruption. We see the same that has happened even in regards to US President Donald Trump by the Republican Party on becoming transparent, maybe on other issues, but definitely transparency should become the common theme. I thank Barrister M. Sarwar Hussain for your patience, your insights on matters of global and local importance. I also thank Norman Floyd Barnes all the way from Washington, District of Columbia. I want to end today's International Affairs because it is a historic day, August the 23rd, which is because the International Day for the Remembrance of the Slave Trade and Abolition is served annually on this very day. Designated by the UNESCO, this day memorializes the transatlantic slave trade, honors the victims and recognizes the historic uprising in Saint Dominique, which is now Haiti, that accelerated the end of slavery. With that fact being established, I am signing off on International Affairs. I shall be with you all in tomorrow's installation.